So today, we're going to dive into something really powerful, a kind of spiritual roadmap based on Sikh teachings. We're breaking down 4 fundamental laws that are meant to guide anyone on their journey, and it all kicks off with one very big question.
Right? How do you actually make that leap? How do you go from just going through the motions to being totally absorbed in that divine connection, where all those worldly distractions just fade away? Well, that's the core question we're tackling, and the first step might not be what you think. You see, the first law isn't about locking yourself away to meditate or just reading books. Nope. It's all about the people you choose to have around you. It's about finding your Sangha. Sangha is this idea of a sacred community, a group of true, like-minded spiritual seekers. And the teachings are so clear about this. Our environment really does shape us. When you make a conscious choice to be around people who lift you up spiritually, your own soul, even your desires, they start to change. It's literally the foundation for everything else. Now, this is a pretty stark choice that every single seeker has to face. On one side, you've got the Gurmukh, a true devotee. They are ekmik, which means totally one with the Guru's teachings. They inspire this deep, soul-to-soul connection, and they actually make you stronger. But on the other side, you have what the text calls spiritually dead souls. People who might talk a good game, but they're just hiding their ego behind spiritual words. And honestly, they just drag you down. So, how can you possibly tell the difference? Well, thankfully, we're given some really practical warning signs. When you're with someone, just ask yourself these things. Do you feel a kind of mismatch in them? Does what they say not quite line up with who they seem to be? Does all their talk about spiritual topics just feel hollow? This isn't about being judgmental. It's about being discerning. It's about protecting your own spiritual journey. All right, let's move on to the second law. This one shifts the focus from what's outside of you to what's inside. It's all about how you see, how you perceive, and how you understand the spiritual teachings you come across.
This brings us to Gurbani, the Guru's word, the sacred scriptures. And here's the absolute key. You can't approach this like it's some academic text that your intellect can just conquer. No way. To get to the real meaning, you have to come at it with total humility. Because your ego, well, your ego's like a brick wall blocking that direct soul-level connection.
I mean, wow! This verse from Gurbani just powerfully slams home the danger of ego. It's such a humbling reminder of divine power. It doesn't matter how important or powerful you think you are in this world, in the face of the divine, that ego is as fragile as a blade of grass.
And there it is, as plain as day. The teaching is this direct for a reason. Ego is the #1 obstacle. It's the biggest enemy a seeker has to face on their path, period.
So what's the antidote? How do you fight this enemy? Well, the poet Saint Bhagat Sheikh Fariji gives us these beautiful, almost paradoxical virtues. It's like turning worldly logic completely upside down. True wisdom is in being simple. True power is in showing humility. And real abundance is found when you share with others, even when you think you have nothing to give.
Law number 3 introduces another fundamental choice. And this one is really a battle between all the distractions of our modern world and the incredible spiritual power that's waiting for you in the quiet hours just before dawn. The Source has this amazing phrase for them, Kali-yogi anesthetics. All the things we use in our modern age to just numb ourselves, and look at the downward spiral it creates. It makes us agitated, anxious, our relationships suffer, and eventually we can even lose our basic sense of right and wrong.
But there is a powerful alternative. This verse points us to Amrit Vela, the ambrosial hours, that special time before sunrise. This is the time prescribed for devotion, a time when the world is still and the spiritual energy is just immense. It's when your connection can be the strongest.
And let's be really clear about this. This isn't just a nice little suggestion. According to the teachings, Amrit Vela and Rehit, or discipline, they are a Sikh's actual source of power. They are a shield. Without them, a person becomes spiritually empty, walking around, and the text uses these stark words, like a dead body. Okay, this brings us to our 4th and final law, and this is the one that really ties everything else together. It's about totally accepting and doing your absolute best to live by every single divine instruction you receive. That divine instruction is called a hukam. And a hukam isn't a suggestion. It's not a piece of friendly advice you can take or leave. For a true devotee, every hukam is the ultimate, non-negotiable truth. You have to accept this to even get started on the path.
So what's the ultimate hukam? If you could boil it all down to one thing, what would it be? Well, it's summarized so perfectly right here.
Above everything else, the best path is to meditate on the divine name and live a pure, ethical life. That's the top priority. That's the core practice.
So what happens? What's the payoff for following these 4 laws? You find your community, you humble your ego, you get up at dawn, and you follow the Guru's word. Well, the result is this incredible, blissful spiritual state known as Jat Vigas, which means the illumination of your inner light.
The first thing that happens? All that mental chatter, the anxiety, the constant worrying and planning, it just stops. Your mind finally becomes still.
And then something amazing happens. The meditation that used to be a discipline, something you had to force yourself to do, it becomes your natural state of being. It's not something you do anymore. It's just who you are.
And finally, this constant, effortless vibration of the divine name just starts humming inside you. It's this sweet, beautiful current of energy that flows with every single breath. This is the goal.
Now, I want you to just look at this number, 1 million. It's a huge number, right? And it sets up one of the most beautiful and encouraging ideas in all of these teachings. And this right here is the crucial takeaway. Your effort is never, ever wasted. For every single step you manage to take on this path, no matter how small or shaky it feels, you are met with this unbelievable amount of grace. You take 1 step, and the Guru takes 1,000,000 steps to welcome you.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. This isn't just a bunch of information. It's an invitation. When you look at these 4 laws, your company, your humility, your discipline, and your acceptance, the real question is, what one step, no matter how tiny it seems, will you take today?